The pleas of her daughter-in-law did not touch the cold heart of Juliana Maria. She had spent so much time tracking down the English princess and meticulously preparing a trap for her stepson's wife. It was worth waiting a few years to finally seize control of the Danish kingdom. But her efforts were not for herself, they were for her son. Unfortunately for Juliana Maria, the heir to the throne was not him, but her deranged stepson. By removing his unfaithful wife, she was clearing her path to power. Juliana Maria found herself so close to the Danish throne by mere chance. The daughter of the Duke of Brunswick, born in the mid-18th century, was not considered a suitable wife for King Frederick V. He was a widower in need of a spouse, but he intended to choose an English princess. Alas, there were no suitable candidates in London, and the king's friend, Adam Gottlieb Holke, happened to spot a portrait of the German beauty. The painting was shown to the king, who nodded in approval and ordered the marriage to be arranged. The haste upset the Danes. They had loved their former queen, the late Louise of Great Britain, and now they were getting some German woman. The wedding was modest, and the new Danish queen maintained a very reserved demeanor. Juliana Maria of Brunswick had received a strict upbringing. Her parents hadn't made much effort to ensure she was well-rounded in her education. However, while she may not have excelled in academics, she possessed practical intelligence and had a keen eye for detail. Thus, as soon as she arrived in Copenhagen, she diligently began to learn Danish, determined not to fall behind her predecessor. As expected, Juliana Maria gave birth to a son, Frederick. In such circumstances, any queen would bask in love and admiration, but here it was different. The sovereign simply did not know how to endear herself to others. This tactful, composed, and always impeccably presented young woman was too cold. She could not laugh contagiously, nor did she experience the fiery outbursts of anger. She was like a statue with a lifeless heart. The crown did not rest upon her head for long. Soon the king fell ill, and within a year, he passed away. Now the throne rightfully belonged to his eldest son from his first marriage, the mentally unstable Christian. The new king spent his time in brothels, squandered money, and surrounded himself with dubious characters. His hasty marriage to his cousin, the Englishwoman Caroline Matilda, did nothing to change him. Meanwhile, his stepmother was furious. Previously, her son had only Christian standing in the way of the throne, but now the daughter-in-law would create additional obstacles. King Christian behaved atrociously, and his young wife took on a lover. The inexperienced fool was too naive to hide it. Juliana Maria observed the unfolding drama with a cold detachment. She was waiting. When the young Englishwoman gave birth to an illegitimate daughter, and only the laziest in the royal court did not call the girl a bastard, Juliana Maria sensed that it was time to act. A coup had taken place. The day before, having gathered all the evidence, the Danish queen revealed the truth about her stepson's wife. The arrest warrant was signed, and Caroline Matilda, along with her lover Struensee, were taken into custody. The young woman pleaded with her mother-in-law for mercy, but the cold queen remained unwavering. Why should she relent? Christian, losing his grip on reality, was no longer an obstacle. The moment had come when Juliana Maria could rule Denmark on her own. Legally, the Dowager Queen had no rights to govern. The authority had been handed over to her son Frederick. Yet it was Juliana Maria who calmly and coldly took charge of everything. This period in Danish history is unanimously regarded as one of the most prosperous of the 18th century. A porcelain factory was established, trade flourished, and every household felt an increase in wealth. For many years, the Queen of Denmark had nurtured the dream of bringing her brother, Prince Anton Ulrich, back home. When she was just a girl, the prince had gone to distant Russia to rule alongside Anna Leopoldovna. In that harsh northern land, he faced a grim fate. The throne was seized by Peter the Great's daughter, Elizabeth, who exiled the prince and his entire family to Kolmogorye. Juliana Maria had repeatedly appealed to the Russian government, asking for the release of her loved ones. Anton Ulrich never saw his home again. He died, and even earlier, his wife and one of his sons, the heir to the Russian throne, John VI, had perished. Only 4 nephews remained, whom Empress Catherine II eventually sent to Copenhagen after lengthy correspondence with Denmark. Juliana Maria had achieved her goal. However, the grown son of the madman, The 16-year-old Crown Prince Frederick, who shared the same name as Juliana Maria's son, seized power in a new coup. There was no argument against it. He had every legal right to do so. The Queen retreated to Christiansborg Castle. In her later years, Juliana Maria's tranquility betrayed her. The revolutionary events in France left a significant impression on her, and she feared a similar uprising in Denmark. When Christiansborg burned down at the end of the century, she believed it was the work of revolutionaries. Juliana Maria of Brunswick passed away at the end of the 18th century. Her son never became the king of Denmark. Her dream remained unfulfilled. Yet, 40 years later, the throne was taken by her grandson. Interestingly, the porcelain factory founded by the Queen still bears her name today.